Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another weekly wrap-up of the Yakking Show, and this is for the week ending 22nd of November to 2024. I want to go to the old-fashioned way of saying 2024 because it made sense when it was in the 19s, but it doesn't sound right in the 2000s, does it? Anyway, so 2024. And we are still above zero in this part of Ontario, and very unusually, I was reading this morning that Great Britain, parts of Great Britain have had snow before us in Canada. So isn't that strange? And Kathleen, you read something frightening about weather. So first of all, hi, how are you, Kathleen?
I'm doing great, Peter. Thank you. And yeah, I was reading something really eerie this morning. It was a headline about an oarfish that resides in very deep, deep water, about 3,000 feet into the ocean. And a third one has washed up in the last 3 months. And it's usually considered a bad omen. And but of course, the article goes on to say that there's really no scientific evidence to really prove that. And lo and behold, I got a, a notice this morning from AccuWeather saying that there was a bomb cyclone that hit the West Coast, and it's actually pretty devastating. So, there you go. I don't know what
Hmm.
to make of that, but
Wow, interesting
mhm,
stuff.
yeah,
So do you want to dive in, pardon the pun, dive into your deep dive?
I would, Peter. And today, what I'd like to talk about is drinking beer. So, did you know, Peter, that drinking beer can alter the composition of your red blood cells?
I didn't know that. Didn't know that.
So, the red blood cells are essential for transporting oxygen from your lungs to every part of your body. They're highly flexible, allowing them to navigate through the tenacious capillaries efficiently. And this flexibility is crucial for maintaining optimal oxygen delivery and overall bodily function. So the red blood cells contain a membrane composed of various lipids, which helps to determine the cell's flexibility and fluidity. So there's a study that points out that drinking beer actually changes those blood lipids.
Hmm.
So, in fact, the study showed that beer, regardless of whether it contained alcohol or not, increased free cholesterol. And why is that? Because the beer contains polyphenols that interact with lipids in cell membranes, which increased fatty acid levels. So, maintaining the right balance of lipids in red blood cells is vital for their flexibility and function. So the fact that drinking even a moderate amount of beer already subtly modifies your blood lipids makeup, and it'll affect their ability to function properly in the long run. So,
Wow.
but the good news is there is a way
Yeah.
to mitigate that. And
Oh,
that is by taking, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but it's NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, acetylcysteine, a
okay.
supplement beforehand. So to maximize the its NAC's benefits, take at least 200 milligram dose about 30 minutes before drinking. It can also be combined with vitamin B1 to enhance its efficacy.
Oh,
There is a way to
interesting stuff.
mitigate it, but for those who
Yeah.
love beer, there you go. You've been warned.
So, Kathleen, tell me, I think I've had two beers this year, and I take NAC, a capsule of NAC every day. You reckon I'm safe?
Well, Peter, you know, I'm not a
Should
doctor. I'm not here
should
to
be.
I'm not here to give medical advice, but it's just something, it's just information that's interesting, and I guess moderation, right?
Yeah, of course. And we know that too much beer affects one's functioning anyway, doesn't it? Whether it's affecting one's cells fluidity and flexibility or not, it affects bodily flexibility. Interesting. That is interesting though. Yeah. Wow. Just
Yeah,
another thing to think about, right? But as you say, with the NAC, at least there's a way of preventing the worst of the damage.
yeah. If you are, how many people are going to think to do that though, 30 minutes before they're about ready to have a beer? But it's something to think about, right?
Absolutely. Then you wanted to talk about health product again, didn't you?
Well, yes, I want to give a plug again to the Dr. Morse detox kits, and we're going to put
Hmm.
a link to that in this video. And by the way, if you use the code Yakking Show, you will get a discount on those detox kits.
Correct.
And I've been going through a detox right now, just a body cleanse. And some of these Dr. Moore's tinctures, I take in a little bit of water. They're not, some of them, they're not bad if you dilute them in a little bit of water. But this one is for female reproductive tonic, but there's lymphatic, there's kidney, and of course, Dr. Morse really advocates good kidney filtration and lymphatic drainage, how important that is to your overall health. And so he has these tinctures that you can take as part of the detox kit. So important. And I'm going through one right now, as I mentioned, and I have for 1 month, I've committed to doing my tinctures with Dr. Morse, and I'm also following a very strict diet of raw foods. So I'm consuming fruits, lots of fruits, and lots of vegetables, all raw. And I'm feeling great, really. I mean, you remember I told you, Peter, that I had a trigger finger, and it's all gone,
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
gone.
Wow.
Yeah, my joints feel limber. Yeah.
Very good. And you're not having any meat at all. You're purely fruit and
No,
vegetables, right?
fruits and
Ah,
vegetables and all raw.
and cut back on the carbohydrates. So you
That's
eating any
all.
potatoes or no
Nope,
potatoes, no
nope,
rice, nothing like that, huh?
nothing cooked.
Wow,
Nothing cooked.
nothing cooked.
Yep,
Wow,
just raw.
that's really good. And now
Mhm.
the first week you're into week 3 of this, if I recall.
Yes,
But
I
the
am.
first week you were a little on the grumpy side. So
Yes.
have you got through that now?
It is hard to change your diet just so quickly like that. If you're used to having some meat, and if we have a pretty good diet, but we do have cooked food and meats. And So when you've stopped all of that, all of a sudden you feel like, oh, I'm missing that, right? So
Hmm.
that's the worst part. But once
Yep,
it's a new habit, right? Now we're in
sure.
the habit, so it's not so bad. You just
Okay.
have to press on and
So I'm going to push you on the grumpiness because I don't want to upset you at all, and I don't want to trigger your grumpiness. My observation is that you got over it after that first week. You were much more on an even keel after that. Is that what you felt just once you got used to it and established the habit?
yeah, you're right. I mean, again, you have to push through it, but mind you, there's some nights where it's like, oh, I just want, I'm hungry. And the thought of going and eating another carrot or another apple is it's not as satisfying, I have to admit, but it's just all about mindset, right?
Yep, absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I fast intermittently and I'll be starting my winter and early spring 24-hour fast every 1 day a week. I'll be starting that again very soon. And I find that tough until I get into it. So just go a month on fruit and vegetables,
And
I know would be
yeah,
tough.
and I miss coffee,
I'm
although
sure.
I only drank decaffeinated coffee. I still enjoy a nice cup of hot coffee, and so I miss that. But the fact that it was decaffeinated, I did not go through caffeine withdrawals or anything like that, which was the bonus.
Excellent. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, I
Mhm.
hate to tell you, but I'm looking at a car arriving and I see my cup of coffee has just arrived. So I don't want to rub it in, but anyway.
Sure you do.
Anyway, okay. So Kathleen, thanks for your update on your personal story of deprivation and fruit-based diet and getting over grumpiness. But I'm sure it's going to do you a lot of good, and I admire you for sticking to it.
Thank
So
you.
let's get back on to what happened on the Yakking show this week. Well, our guest on Tuesday was Alan Lazarus, and he was telling us and our audience how to maximize your unique potential. And Alan had a really good story. He didn't have an easy childhood for a start. I won't go into the details. You need to watch the episode or listen to it. But he overcame a lot, and he's now a successful businessman, very positive, very motivated, and I really enjoyed hearing what he had to say. He's also a podcaster, which is interesting too. So that was our Tuesday episode. And then let's see who's coming up next week. Well, next week we have Ellie Leclerc, who will be talking to us about dementia, and she has been involved in nursing for 50 years, not always with dementia patients, but a lot of that time was elderly people suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. She has a lot of good things to say about how to look after aging parents who are starting to suffer, and more importantly, what to look for in aging people that you may know. There's some little subtle signs a lot of us might miss, and she tells us what to look for. Okay, following Ellie will be Kevin Palmieri. Kevin is Alan Lazarus's business partner. Quite different to Alan, very go ahead, very positive younger guy, and he will be talking about how to maximize your potential holistically. Another episode that is really worth listening to or watching. And the week after him will be Dr. Mike DeBoard, who's a fitness expert, and he's come up with a way to increase your exercise intensity so you can get more benefit from a shorter time. And he does that with some specialized equipment, very easy to use, and he demonstrates it. Very interesting episode again. That's who's coming up over the next few weeks. And then we must talk about a book. And this week we are featuring again Dr. Morse's book, The Detox Miracle Source Book, which there will be a link in the description here and in our newsletter. And as Kathleen said, to get the book, if you use the code Yakking Show, you will get a discount. So that's our book for the week. That's about it from me. But you see, we've got an interesting list of guests coming up for you. So to make sure you don't miss out, hop onto the website, theyakkingshow.com, sign up for our weekly newsletter. We only send you one email a week and just tell you who's on this week and who's coming next week. That's it from me. So back to you, Kathleen.
Thank you all so very much for tuning in to our show. And until next week, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.